Yo, 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 welcome back to White Dads Can't Jump with the main man, Chad. How is it going?
Doing well. How you doing?
Here we are on almost 4th of July Eve. So have you
Yeah.
bought the appropriate amounts of TNT?
No, we don't really do the fireworks. I actually, and this is kind of bad, but I kind of root for rain
It seems a little
after,
unpatriotic.
after. I
After
mean,
what?
like after 9. Like have your fun before 9, and then
Not on your yard, not on my
right,
lawn.
right. Oh, I
Right.
forgot. I was gonna bring my George Washington figure today. Dang it, I forgot.
There's always next week
Next
when it
week.
won't be 4th of July.
It doesn't matter. It's always America Week.
So, do you have any big plans for the weekend?
I did went to the golf. The golf. I got the shirt, so I went to Clearwater Beach, Florida. So
Excellent. Oh, Golf of America.
the
Love
Gulf of
it.
America, right? Yeah. So it's the first time I'd been to the Gulf of America, and I will tell you, it's a little different.
You feel more
It
liberated?
I feel a little more liberated. I do. I feel like you just walk out there and you just have this feeling of freedom
And ownership?
and ownership. Yeah, that comes with it. Yeah, it just and it flows off the tongue. Gulf of America, so much better than Gulf of Mexico. I'll tell you, when you go to the surf shops, so many shirts with
Right.
Gulf of America on there, really pushing. And they sucked me in. I saw this one and I thought, this is the least political of the ones. This one doesn't have a giant Donald Trump face on it. So
See,
I
people
thought that was
complain
the
about the
most,
economy, but he's single-handedly stimulating the beach economy all over the area.
yeah, blowing it up. There, I had to go to multiple stores to find this size. And let me tell you another thing about the beach. Beach culture is a very interesting situation because you have the wealthiest people, obviously, but they also look like the most ragtag bunch of people imaginable because
You would
they're
never
at the
know.
beach, right?
Yeah.
And you see some women with some plastic surgery that maybe should have stopped in the 90s and they just kept adding to it and
They pulled a Meg Ryan.
getting rounder and rounder in different spots. A little thick. But yeah, it was a good time. Went for the 10-year anniversary, little vacay action without the kid. It was
Oh,
nice.
whoa, kid-free
Got an
getaway.
Airbnb. Now let me tell you about the Airbnb situation. So are you an Airbnber?
Uh, I've done it internationally. I am all about it.
See, I feel like now I booked this like last week, so I understand that there was limited pickings and it was what was available and it was inexpensive and it is what it is. But at the same
This
time,
feels
like,
like user error from the beginning, but go on.
well, they always ask you for the review, and I felt bad. I didn't do a review because if I did, it would have been bad. So I just didn't. But it's like you got to put some effort into it. Like the pipes shouldn't be detached, or not the pipes, but like the faucet shouldn't be detached from the wall in the shower. Like I shouldn't be able to see the pipe. Like that's an
Isn't
easy
that kind of
fix.
it's just beach vibe. Like they said beach
It
vibe in the
well,
listing.
it is very beach vibe. Like you got to hold the toilet down a little longer to make sure it flushes.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah, this isn't the Ritz Carlton. You're at the beach.
Right. Yeah. But it
I
was a good
mean,
time. It was fun. The water was nice. It was very calming and relaxing and
yeah. Well,
liberating.
and on Airbnb, you get what you pay for. Like you're like, oh, what's the difference between the $700 a night place and the $300 a night place? Like they're they are marketed at different price points for a major reason on Airbnb.
Yeah, well, because they get you with the location too. Because I mean, we literally walked to the beach, so you don't have to
Right.
worry about
Exactly.
parking. You don't have to deal with any of that. And if you forget something, you just jump over there. So it is what it is. But I wouldn't stay there again. But I enjoy Clearwater Beach. It's a good vibe. A lot of
Nice little
action.
thing. We like that's true. Yeah, like if it was just a couple's getaway, Clearwater Beach is the spot to go. Otherwise, Indian Rocks Beach is good for families.
Yeah, we've done
Um,
that one.
yeah, good beach access.
We drove down to Indian Rocks and we drove past the mega mansions in Bel Air Beach.
But yeah,
Shocking the size
yeah, it's fun
of
to
those
look at.
houses. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do Indian Rocks. We've done Madeira. That's a good one. St. Pete Beach. All those up and down the coast.
So then, while you were on the beach, you walked the beach, I assume.
Did not actually.
Okay, you
Nope.
just the beach was more of a backdrop for you.
Not this time. Yeah, we sat. We read a little bit.
Love it. So had you walked down the beach, it is possible sometimes that you can just sort of stumble across things on the beach that you don't expect. Like this mysterious black package
Oh,
was found on a Florida beach, and it is black packages wrapped tightly in cellophane wrap, and it has a picture of who on the front?
Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam right there. So if you see this sort of float up on the beach, you assume that this is extra shampoo or
Wow.
suntan lotion.
Which beach was this on?
Listen, this isn't a question for follow up question or show for follow up questions. This was
Walton
on
County.
Walton County, Florida,
Wow.
the white sand beaches. Um,
I
so
I saw a dolphin. I didn't see any cocaine.
well, you didn't ask anybody either.
That's true.
So,
Some of those people I saw probably had some cocaine in their car.
right. You just weren't trying hard enough to find it,
Right.
I think. Okay, so, but this brings us to the obvious question. And we're going to do this two different ways, okay? Under the first scenario, you are walking down the beach with Jamie and you see this. So then walk me through what happens next.
I think I would grab it for sure. I mean, I wouldn't go right to bomb. Like that would be my first thought
You
of
wouldn't go to what?
thinking it was a bomb.
Oh, yeah, no, no. It
Like it
does,
doesn't look
yeah,
harmful.
right. The Yosemite Sam lets you know it's not a bomb.
Right. Um, and since we're now in the Gulf of America, I know that there's a little more security enforced there, so I don't have to worry about that.
Naturally. Naturally.
So this had to be a holdover from the cartel that came across the Gulf of Mexico, no doubt. But um,
Goes
um,
without saying.
yeah, I would open it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't report it. I don't know.
Okay. Well, all right. So then here, this is the official statement from the Walton County Sheriff. While enjoying our beautiful beaches, if you come across any square groupers, please call us immediately and do not touch suspicious packages. The contents may be extremely harmful. All right, we don't. That's fine. Of course, they had
Yeah,
to say
I
that.
did have some grouper while I was there,
Was
but
it
it
square?
was fried in a batter of golden wonderness because it was
I'm,
delicious.
I'm sure that it was. Okay, now you're on the beach by yourself, and it's just you and Yosemite Sam. What
It
now?
doesn't change.
Okay, so you take a personal amount for later that night and then just walk away,
I think it'd be very hard if you came across cash. I feel like if it was cash, you would just say, "Well, I just found money."
and you pick it up and walk away.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that you pick this up and then okay, so you pick up one Yosemite Sam and you walk away. Like now, what do you do with it?
Yeah, you got to open it,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and then you see it's cocaine, and then you're, oh god.
right, exactly. I mean, I'm with you. Like if this were cash, that would be good, but we just don't have the resources that it would take. Like this is not an episode of Ozarks. Like we don't have the resources
Yeah.
it would take to convert this to cash without permanently becoming part of some slave where we're the slave,
Right.
situations.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't bode well for our teaching careers either.
Right. No, I think none of this is good. So, but I do like that. I do like the idea that there are some people that are like, oh my gosh, we're rich. We
Yeah.
found this and
Yeah.
now we are going to be rich. No, you're not for several reasons. Like, do you think someone is missing this?
Right. It reminds me of the end of Ocean's 11. It's a little bit of a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, go off, you're free. But if I see you driving a $200,000 sports car in the next 2 weeks, or you're buying driving stuff, like I will find you. So, like, this is out there. Like, and it's going to be on the news because you're not going to, yeah. Or it might not be on the news that you're selling cocaine, but like the cocaine cartel is going to be wise to it.
They know roughly where it got dropped off.
Yeah, I think there's a network, and then if one supplier is like, "Hey, I came across 40 kilos of Yosemite Sam's finest," it might get back to him.
Well, and so then here's the next problem is that if you happen to pick this up and all of a sudden think that you two are Pablo Escobar, you
Hmm.
could end up in court and this could be your attorney. It's subtle and slight, but see if you can catch the possible faux pas that this attorney makes in this video.
Oh, I love it. That's those like the memes of watch people die inside. She's not helping the situation.
That's not her job. The fact that he absolutely cannot recover.
Yeah. Yeah, him doing it's not as funny as the reaction, obviously. Like if he could have handled it and moved on, but oh my
Right.
god.
We know it's not great. She knows it's not great. You know it's not great. The worst thing you can do is sit right here in this moment and let it
Oh
marinate
my
for
god.
even longer.
You just gotta let it go.
So, yeah, you
Whew.
absolutely have to let it go. This is a lawyer in Colorado, so probably won't be representing you over the Yosemite Sam, but I'm just throwing it out there that that's probably not who you want to call.
Man, I can't even imagine a situation where you do something like that. I don't think I've ever done that.
That would not be good. Okay, so on to a little bit more positive water news. So you could also be on vacation and you could be this Disney dad. Have you heard about this guy
Yeah, who
who,
jumped in the after the kid,
yeah,
the drowning kid.
yeah, oops.
Boy.
Hello, we're being outdoorsy now. Um, so yeah,
Brought
the
to you
kid,
today by RV Today.
yeah, by outdoorsy.com. We don't endorse that in any way. So he's on the Disney Dream, or it started out as a dream. I'm not sure it ended that way. And a girl fell overboard from the fourth deck, and her dad went in after her. Okay. Hannah falls over. Is your first instinct, I'm going to now jump off of this thing?
Yeah, I think it has to be.
I mean, because otherwise,
What else are you
you're
doing?
never. How are you ever going to find her?
Right. Like you don't have time to go find somebody to find
Right. Like,
her.
let me call the customer service hotline and see what happens here.
Right. They're not going to answer.
Right. Right. Thankfully, the DCL rescue team was on it immediately and both were saved.
Yeah.
Okay, so no doubt you're jumping in after your daughter.
How old was she?
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know how many times I have to tell you. This is not a follow up question kind of show.
young enough. Young enough.
Yeah, definitely young enough. 4 night. She's on this 4 night cruise. Yep, they have exceptional staff. So, anyways, I think she was 9 to be honest with you.
Okay.
So the 9-year-old, which is roughly your daughter's age, if she jumps in, okay? You're not there, and she falls in. Can she survive on her own? Like, can she swim? These are warm waters.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think if she survives the initial impact and the
right,
kind of haze that would come with that,
right, and
and
not
us
knowing.
not getting nailed by the boat as it's going by, I think that'd be the other problem.
Right, that would be problematic.
But she could float, yes.
Yeah. So listen, you are then a plus Disney dad, and I think that we all probably knew that going into this show. The last bit of water news that I have for you here is there's a woman in Massachusetts sitting in her hot tub, and this does not there. She sees an object in the sky. It does not land in her hot tub, but I'm going to show this to you, and you decide, and then I'll sort of describe what's going on here.
Should I be seeing something here?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then,
There she is.
for those of us playing the home game, we're going to do it one more time. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Tesla space rocket that like is coming down instead of going up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know what that is, but she was not happy about it. Have you been sitting in your pool doing your reading, which we know that you love to do, and
I
ever
do.
like witnessed any odd aerial activities?
No, but when we first moved down here, you didn't. I wasn't aware of the rocket situation. Obviously, I knew the rockets were going up, but I didn't know what they were.
Yeah,
So that was always like, oh my god, what is that in the sky? And then you're like, oh wait, you can see rockets from here
it's a bird, it's a plane.
because they almost look like they're going sideways, obviously because of the curvature and the height that they're at. So it's hard to get a.
Right,
It doesn't look like they're going up.
a real feel for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no doubt. Um, I think that I feel spoiled by the Rockets because I have a 6-year-old boy who absolutely goes nuts over those things. And I took him to Kennedy Space Center when he was 3 or 4, which was obviously too young for him to, capture what was going on. But I'm pretty excited to take him back and give it another shot.
Yeah, I haven't been there since I was a little kid, but I would like to go as well.
Yeah,
Check it out.
it's pretty awesome what's there. I mean, I would be really excited if Tesla would open up, because as far as I know, they don't have a big open to the public tourist activity, but I would definitely like to do that.
Yeah, I remember being a kid, watching like Double Dare and all that. One of the trips was always Space Camp.
Oh, you're right.
Space
Who was
Camp
the
for the
host
week.
of that show?
Double Dare, it was. I thought this was one of those shows we don't ask questions. Mark
Hey, man.
Summers. Mark
Mark
Summers.
Summers. There you
Yeah,
go.
he also hosted What Would You Do? And they
Oh,
had the
that's
pie coaster. Remember the pie coaster? It was like
where
this little
the pie comes to you.
coaster cart, and you'd ride it, and you go up down this little hill, and it was in the studio, and then you fly into some pies.
Him and the pies, man. Like I think that was a him thing because it seemed like everything he was affiliated with was heavy on the pie.
Yeah, people love pie. Maybe, I don't know.
I was gonna say, are you a big pie guy? Yeah, me neither. I think that that's something that's sort of dying. Like, I'm not saying that they're gonna stop serving apple pies at diners, but like it used to be like a Thanksgiving tradition. Do you guys have pies at Thanksgiving?
Pumpkin. I do like pumpkin pie,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
but only at Thanksgiving. Like, I wouldn't just casually eat a pumpkin pie.
Right.
That's unacceptable.
This may be why Perkins is now extinct.
Ooh, yikes. Yeah, Perkins. You know what's not extinct? And speaking of t-shirts,
Yeah.
we have big news to share with the people if you've made
I
it to the 17-minute mark here.
Oh yeah, right. We took
So
it too
we have launched the White Dads Can't Jump website
far. Do-do-do-do.
that you can go to at whitedadscan'tjump.com. And there you will find not only the latest episode of our podcast, but you will also see our latest chicken review video, which will be Applebee's chicken tenders. So I know you'll want to hear about that. And also, the most exciting part is you can get your official White Dads Can't Jump merch available.
If
There
you're
it
joining
is.
us here on YouTube, we're going to give you a little sneak preview here. The main man Chad, and look at those
Oh my gosh.
shirts.
Is that polo embroidered?
Oh my
Wow.
goodness!
That is nice.
Front and back,
Man.
a hoodless hoodie, a long sleeve tee, if you will.
Oh my gosh. What's a hoodie? We got hoodie.
I like the black cap. That's pretty crisp.
What's on the back of that WDCJ t-shirt? Oh my gosh, look at that full logo on the back. Holy smokes. Giving them away.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just on the regular traditional podcast channel, not joining us on YouTube, you are missing out. This is something to be seen. Of course, this is also the place to find the most current episode of the podcast. We are featuring episode 14 because as we speak, we are recording episode 15. And a new little fun feature. Mayman Chad, what's
Latest
this?
chicken reviews. So Kevin and I are going to be giving you all the deets on the chicken out there in the world. So we're going to do it for you. We're going to find some good ones. We're going to find some bad ones.
Listen, if Dave Portnoy can steer you in the right direction on pizza, we're here for you on chicken. Like, that's the bottom line.
Right. We've already got quite a few in the can we're ready to show you. And some are good, some are bad.
Yeah.
We'll teaser out there. But yeah, watch this McDonald's one.
I think more interestingly, some were surprising. Like, I know one took your breath away. You could not believe what you were tasting.
Yeah, that's true.
And where you were tasting it at.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just
So we're excited. We're excited to bring those to you. And those are quick
Absolutely.
videos. You got 2 minute commitment to it.
Yeah. And then you're
Boom.
going to be chicken knowledgeable around town.
Right. And the best way to know when all this is coming out is if you subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely. So like and subscribe on the old YouTube, and otherwise whitedadscan'tjump.com. So that
Uh,
okay.
Can we
So
talk about something real quick? Are
let's
you
do it.
aware of this tropical depression that's forming off the coast of Florida?
No, I'm not.
So I hear today that we're potentially going to get 10 inches of rain over the next few days.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so a
That'll be
little
great for barbecues.
little early. Yeah, well, no fireworks, so
That
I
plays right
can't
into
say I
your
was a
plan.
little disappointed. I was not disappointed about that. Yeah, so
Right.
a little early. So maybe there's something to this climate change stuff they keep talking about, or maybe I don't know.
Listen, I'll tell you what there is we've gotten the Florida afternoon rain back, which my water bill is
Yeah,
happy about.
yeah,
That is fantastic. I mean, the downside is that your lawn now grows like a weed. Well, I mean, my
yeah.
lawn is weed, but for
Yes, I
non-weed
have
parts too,
large
even those
parts of
grow.
my yeah, but at least they're green.
Yeah, they're beautiful weeds.
Yeah, I had Hannah out
Um,
there mowing today.
what?
She was on the zero turn. Yeah, she was out there mowing
Good, good for
while I
her.
was while I was edging.
How are her lines?
They're much better than they were before, I will say. We started doing this last year, so she was a little green at it last year. This year, she's a little more under control with it. So
Did she do the whole thing?
no, just about. I did most of it yesterday, but it got so dark and scary. You know what? You put this in my head because you told me when you went to the meteorologist speech or talk
Yeah.
that people get struck by lightning like 30 miles away from the actual lightning strike.
Yes.
Right? That's what you
This is
told
a
me.
true fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm sitting there on my mower and I go out there and I look at the radar and it says, oh, it's storming in Tampa, which is about 40, 50 miles away from us. And
Right?
I'm thinking, oh my God, if the
It's gonna
lightning
happen.
starts in Tampa, it's going to hit me in Lakeland. So
Okay.
I
So
got to get off. I got to get out.
here's the one educational piece of the day. So Greg D from ABC Action News,
Well, he'll be
your
on before
trust
long. We'll get him on one
trust
day.
yeah, I'm sure he'd come on. Your trusted news source. He came to the school and explained to us that most lightning strikes happen in areas where the person is standing in clear blue sky. And why is that? Because unbeknownst to us, most of the time lightning actually travels horizontally. And so there can be a thunderstorm going on in the next town over, about 30, 40 miles away, and it can go horizontally over and come down and zap you out of the clear blue sky. And so I have now made Chad fully aware of this, and he now sends his daughter out if there is any possibility of lightning to
She's
finish mowing the
shorter.
grass.
She's
I mean,
shorter.
right. Yeah, and she's very energetic, so it would just go right
Yeah.
through her. It's like part of her
Bounce right
ethos,
out.
anyways. Yeah,
Right. But yeah, so that's you've put that squarely in my mind. So I appreciate that.
yeah, absolutely. Speaking of things to put in your mind, Brian Koberger. Are you familiar with it, Brian?
No. Should I be?
Brian, yeah, he's been in the headlines for the last few months. He is the gentleman who had a little bit of run-in with his four roommates in Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, they weren't his roommates.
tr- true.
Didn't he want them to be the roommates or something? That was the story
There
there.
was definitely a sordid situation, and
Yeah.
for those of you that haven't been caught up, he is actually a brutal murderer of these four poor college students who he was arguably stalking.
Yeah,
But the
that's the one
update,
where they were saying that there was so much blood that it was like leaking out of the house.
yeah, it was truly gruesome. And so the update tonight is that he has just accepted, or excuse me, pled guilty in order to avoid the death penalty.
Oh, I did because I knew he was fighting it. I mean
Yeah,
the charges.
and he literally was in the middle of a PhD program in criminology.
Yeah.
So all of this leads me to believe that he felt like he was the smartest guy in the room, and that he was going to be able to Perry Mason his way out of this, and create some preponderance of evidence that pointed in a different direction and got him off the hook.
Did you
I
watch
think
Mindhunter?
uh,
on Netflix.
Oh, on
Like
on Netflix.
probably like 6 years ago now it came
That
out.
was based on the real FBI profiler program.
Yeah, like the original of how they
Absolutely.
brought it about. Yeah, and well, my point bringing that up is that the guys that they featured on there were all super intelligent. A lot of those serial killers do have very high IQs.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and the did you watch the recent Netflix documentary on the Gilgo Beach murders?
No, but I'm familiar with
Okay.
those.
Yeah. So apparently that was an architect who lived
Yeah,
in on Long Island but had offices in Midtown Manhattan and was a successful architect for a few decades.
yeah, that's the crazy part is when these people are just going to work like your literal coworker that you're hanging out with is butchering people.
Yeah. Did you ever see Fracture with Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling? It was
Ooh.
2007. If
Mm,
you haven't, it is a strong recommend, and it is plot twist after plot twist, and it is a battle of wits between Hopkins and Gosling, where there is a murder committed, a crime committed, and Hopkins. Gosling is the attorney and Hopkins is the accused, and he's trying to get away with it. And you think that he will. And if you watch this movie, this is what I think of when I think of the Idaho guy, is that
mhm.
he thinks that he's Anthony Hopkins and he's going to be able to two-step his way legally around, getting found guilty of this crime, and he obviously didn't. I mean, if reality has hit home to the point where you're like, oh, I don't want to die, then obviously you're thinking things aren't going your way.
Yeah, and there's obviously conversations with his counsel because they have to know what's going on. I'm sure they have that conversation of like, did you do it?
Yeah,
And
right. Can we
when
just
he
have an
said,
honest
yeah,
moment here?
when he says yes, they're like, well, maybe, we're in Idaho. So I don't know what method they use there, but I'm sure they're quick to the trigger or the
Right.
switch or the gas, whatever it is that they're going to do out there. So yeah, that's a, that's a crazy, yeah, I did not realize that he had pled guilty. That's good.
Yep. Well, that again, breaking news. And the P Diddy jury is out.
Like
Have you
they
heard
made their
this?
decision.
They are deliberating.
Yeah,
They're
I knew
out.
that.
They are deliberating still, and they have asked a second question, which doesn't look so good as far as the prosecution goes. Normally it's like if you're guilty, it's a couple of hours, and they call everybody back, and then they read the verdict. But it's very possible that we walk away from this whole thing with a hung jury.
What was the question?
The question had to do with the jury's question concerned the distribution of controlled substances. In a note to the
Hmm.
judge, the jurors asked if a person asks for a controlled substance and another person gives it to the requester, is the person who hands over the controlled substance considered to be distributing to them?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
that whole trial has so many nuances to it and so much I don't know, different I have so many opinions on every bit of it cuz part of me understands the situation that he is in and that everyone else is in and that he's in a position where they're not going to say no to him, but it seems at the same time he's not like forcing anybody to do anything against their will per se. So,
I think you have definitively proven that he is a bad guy.
yes,
Like,
without a doubt. And he has
he is
some he's a
not a
freak.
good person.
Right.
But I don't know if, and the other thing is that you tried to bring this as like a racketeering case, which means that you don't have to
Yeah.
just prove one thing, but you have to prove three, two subsequent crimes in connection with the larger racketeering. Oh boy. So,
Yeah, cuz it's like people use their influence all the time over people for different things. And it's
right.
just dependent on what as society we choose to think it's criminal or not.
Yeah. Well, and whether anybody chooses to press charges. Yeah. I mean, from once we get to the deciding phase, that's a whole nother thing. But it is amazing how, with a little bit of influence in this world, you can get to the, you can stop it from getting to the point where anybody has to make any other decisions. Just, we're not going to move forward with this.
Right, which is interesting that it even got this far, because someone had to have something on somebody to get it to even
Absolutely.
move this far, because obviously a lot of these things can just get buried
Right.
when you have somebody like that.
Well, and the other interesting thing is that federal prosecutors normally don't bring charge. I mean, federal prosecutors have like a 98% win rate. Like they just they don't have to bring any charges. And so they only bring them if they are just darn sure that they're going to be able to get them through. And so it's a little surprising that they are finding themselves in this situation.
Yeah, because what is he? He's being charged with the RICO case. Aren't they trying to pull other people into it?
Combs 55 is charged with 5 counts: 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of each of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. That would be moving them around on the private plane. I mean, and the other question is, if found guilty of the most serious charges, he could face up to life in prison. I mean, like, he doesn't have to be found guilty of all of these together, I wouldn't imagine. Like, I think that we're pretty sure that he participated in the transportation of prostitutes. Like, that seems like a check in the box.
Right. Which do
Whether,
the prostitutes then get charged for being prostitutes?
well, the problem in
Or
sex work.
did they know they were working as prostitutes?
Oh yeah, no doubt, and they don't deny that. And in fact, the madams that were coordinating this whole thing, they have texts of Diddy texting back and forth, so they have him directly participating in that part of the process. And historically, sex workers are the only ones that get charged, right? I mean, like, how often do they actually charge the Johns? Not very often. And so, yeah, they typically get charged, and this is actually the reverse, where you've got the John that's actually getting charged for this, but that's because obviously they're going after him after some bigger stuff. So
I was really disappointed that there weren't more names brought up. That's what I was the most excited about, was who is he going to bring up? Who's going to go down with the ship here?
It makes you wonder, like, are they being handicapped? Like, are the prosecutors handicapped by what they can't say?
They have to be, because the amount of people that are involved in the highest level of society of that time, every entertainer, politician, like they all have to be there.
Who don't have any direct power, but are using all of the soft and indirect power they have to call in favors and make things go away.
Right. Because I mean, if you had Bill Gates, for example, I mean, wasn't he on the Epstein logs too? Like, he's in both of these.
I mean, like, everybody was on that.
So I mean, you can make anything not come out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Epstein is a whole other thing. And then Galinda, did they end up catching Galinda?
I don't think so.
Maxwell? I thought that, and she was like the
his girl. Yeah, they but people also thought she was gonna drop names, but she didn't.
No, yeah, she didn't do anything. But I think she did get like 25 years or something like that.
Yeah, she has not committed suicide yet, so there's that.
That's good. So boy, oh boy, the world we live in, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about something fun.
Yeah,
and exciting. Let's talk about America, because, like I said, we got the 4th of July coming up.
I love it.
So, as we know, I am a history teacher. So I previously had, which you can't see anymore because we updated the office, but I used to have my George Washington picture behind me. So, I mean, I'm all in on 4th of July, on America stuff. I've watched so much stuff. I was watching podcasts or listening to a podcast yesterday. But one of these things that ties all this together, and I know you love Nick Cage from The Rock, is National Treasure. I feel like National Treasure, now granted, this is a 20-year-old movie at this point, which is kind of sickening in itself, but that tied in all the great aspects of history and DC and the Declaration of Independence and got everybody involved, and so many people learned so many things about it. So it brings me to this point, this question I have with you. Are there any history movies that you enjoyed, American history movies that is based that are your sole source of historical knowledge?
I think something that falls pretty readily into that is Saving Private Ryan. I am not a World War II, read every book, watched every documentary. Like, I know the highlights, but the way that that film put you on the beach was literally changed my entire perspective, period.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching, as we talked about last week, the Masters of the Air show, which is from the same
Right.
people that did, I mean, Tom Hanks produced, and Spielberg produced from the same people that did Band of Brothers. And yeah, you watch that and the Omaha Beach scene from Saving Private Ryan. It just, you can't make yourself believe that that's real.
Right.
Like
Right.
that people
And that's what's
actually
even
did
more
that
shocking. Yeah.
and that people
Right.
survived it.
And they took the fact that they took the beach, like,
Right.
hey, these are well equipped Nazis with machine guns, and we flooded enough GIs on there to actually take the beach. It's insane.
With elevation too. Like they had guns on top. Like I remember watching one time years ago a documentary when the guy was, he survived the landing and he just was like, I just kept moving and I survived, like, by no rhyme or reason. Like everyone around him was getting hit. Every
Right.
step he took, someone was getting
Right.
hit. And somehow he found the line to walk on that got him to the cliffs, to climb up the cliff, to not get hit there, to go up and get into the machine gun nest. It's just crazy
I
that
mean,
anyone could survive.
that's the old expression that there's no atheist in a foxhole.
Right. Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
it'd be hard you survive that. Because even with the Masters of the Air, they go and they do their raids and they come back and they just lose people, like people that you're friends with. You just go up and you come down, or they don't come
yeah,
back. It's just, and then you got to. The crazy thing is you got to come back to society after that,
which can be problematic.
right? You like go to war. I was fortunate enough in college to interview two World War II vets. This was in the early 2000s, so they were in their 80s, 70s, and 80s, and he'd still wake up with nightmares and night sweats from it. One of them, because I mean, those are your formative years. You're 20 years old. You're going through that, and you're seeing everybody go
Yeah.
down.
Well, and even though it was Hollywoodized, the movie American Sniper, where he came home and would sit there and watch, it looked like he was looking at a blank TV, but in his mind, he was running through the images and memories of things that he had seen in Iraq. Again, the fact that that movie is true, even if Hollywood juiced it up a little bit, it's just incredible. And then to be taken out by a fellow vet is just incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think obviously there's not enough done. I mean, obviously, I mean, this is relatively new understanding of PTSD and whatnot. So, I mean, you think people came back from World War II and it was like, hey, come back, go get a job, you're good to go. People
Right.
come back from Vietnam, same kind of thing. It's just relatively recently we're more attuned to what's going on and the psychological damage that's going on and
Wow.
the
And in
long standing.
Vietnam, the chemical damage, like
Yeah,
the burn, I mean, and I guess even in Afghanistan too, like we hear about it, the burn pits. Oh, yeah, we need you guys to go work the burn pits. No, perfectly safe. We're going to burn some
right.
tires. We're going to burn some unused napalm. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's crazy that people do it. Obviously, it's good that they do because
Yeah,
it
God bless them,
shapes our society. But
and
man,
allows it to exist.
yeah, it's just crazy to me that there are men and women that they wake up, they don't know what they're going to do that day. They get their order and they go do it.
Yeah,
And then they come
absolutely.
home. It's not like, well, we did it today. We're not doing it again tomorrow, but here we go. I guess
Yeah,
that
it
wasn't
gives
very
us,
uplifting or fun, but
yeah, way to,
took a took a dark path.
way, way to drive that home. Appreciate it. So, but Fourth of July is going to be a lot of boom boom fireworks and fun barbecues. My only beef with Fourth of July is that we only adopted um, the Constitution on the 4th of July. They didn't get around to actually signing it
Declaration.
until like August.
Yeah, it
So
was actually signed on the 2nd. The initial signing was on the 2nd. It was read on the 4th
oh
because
really?
John Adams actually writes back to his wife and says July 2nd will be a day that we celebrate with fireworks. And then, yeah, it doesn't get fully ratified until August.
Right. So
Because of the time, I
you know,
mean, the gap, they had to come and go and back and forth.
I mean, they could have just texted, but I get it. So
Do you
okay.
know the opening phrase of it? We'll put you
Of
on the
the
spot. Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence. We the people hold these truths to be self-evident.
That's the Constitution.
Well, God, okay. A 7 years ago.
That's the Gettysburg Address.
See, Americans couldn't pass the immigration test. I'm telling you.
I think I should know this, but I think it's the we hold these truths to be self-evident
Yeah, we troll. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
that all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. Life,
Let's put
liberty, and
this
the
straight.
pursuit of property. It used to be property, but they didn't take. They took it out. You know why?
There's a little bit of a slave issue.
Because there's a little bit of a contradiction there when we start talking about
Yeah.
what they viewed as property and freedom and equality. So, but we'll leave that one up
So
for another day.
probably all for the best that they yanked that. All right, so top 5 for tonight. So let's talk top 5 4th of July. So we can go 4th of July or summer movies. I'm going to start us off with Sandlot. I feel like Sandlot is clearly in the top 5 summer movie list.
That's a quintessential because now last week we did summer blockbusters, right?
We did do summer blockbusters.
So this is a little different because
this is
blockbuster and
Americana.
summer movie, right? That's a different situation because
Right,
this isn't just
July 4th.
bombastic. Yeah. So I mean,
Right.
Sandlot, like you go outside with your best friends, you go to the local baseball field or diamond, and you play. Yeah, you don't get any more Americana than that.
Right.
I would agree with that one.
Okay.
Let me see. Do you have a list, or are we just popping this off?
No, we're popping this.
Oh,
off
we're popping this one off
straight.
here.
Field of Dreams. I'm putting out there because it's baseball and it's summer, and there's nothing more American than baseball. I mean, there's a few ghosts in there, which is just interesting,
Right.
and ties back to a previous episode. So check that out.
Yeah.
So there's our bottom 2. All right, what other Americana movies stand out?
Man, Americana movies. I'm trying to think here of a good, wholesome. Are we trying to go wholesome? One that stands out, and this is kind of ridiculous, but when you said it, it popped in my head just because it's a perfect kind of, it captures the small town vibes. Is Dennis the Menace?
Oh yes.
Do you remember that movie?
Good. A+.
Because it's just small kids hanging out,
Yep.
and they have their like perfectly lined streets, and yeah, that one is very like American Dream. I think of what obviously Dennis Menace was written during I assume the 50s, right. So they kind of recreated that in the 90s. So that.
And then number 4 is the one that is pure Americana about the 4 girls that are young in like the 60s or 70s, and they're riding around on their bikes, and it has it has the original Wednesday from Addams Family in it. Who's that actress?
What? Christina Ricci?
Yep, it has Christina Ricci in it.
The Traveling Sisterhood of the Yaya or Pants?
Yeah, closer. Christina Ricci movies. All right, I'm gonna get this for you. And when I say it, you will know.
I was thinking My Girl initially, but I know that's not it.
I like My Girl. I think we can throw that on the list. Oh.
There's actually a short of the house on our YouTube channel because it's 10 minutes from my house. So check that out.
Check that out. It's not coming up, but it is sort of like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I'll come back to it.
Mean Girls?
What is it?
Mean Girls?
No, not Mean Girls. Not Mean Girls. All right. Well, I think that does it for us tonight. We did a little Americana here at the end. And so happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Be safe. Mayman Chad, anything else?
No.
All right. Happy 4th. Be good.